What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Top 10 Tuesday. Last Wednesday on our Pokemon stream, Son created a Bug Eevee illusion, which you can see the image right here-ish. And you actually click on that to go check out that video where she drew it. And that got me thinking, Bug Pokemon are my favorite type, so why not do a video on that? So this is my top 10 Bug Pokemon. Number 10 is Shedinja. Shedinja is kind of a weird Pokemon. It's sort of the husk exoskeleton that a Ninjax has molted out of. It has a halo. It's a ghost, and it's also really crazy because it has 1 HP. The only Pokemon in the game that has that, and it has one of the crazy ability Wonder Guard, where it's only damaged by super effective attacks. This was really cool for me, especially growing up using this Pokemon. It also has one of the weirdest ways to evolve. Level a Nincada to level 20 with a spare Pokeball and an extra slot, and when it evolves an age, it's crazy. But for a while, at least in the beginning, people didn't really know what that was. And I like to attempt to use him in competitive battling on my bug-only team, but there's such a prevalence of really powerful fire Pokemon. Talonflame, Charizard, things like that. So it never really gets any use. You could try to be clever and swap in, but if you're using a bug-only team, they're always going to try to hit you with fire, so it's not going to work. But needless to say, Bug Ghost, pretty cool typing. I'd love to see another Bug Ghost type. Maybe something without 1 HP, but I guess we'll see what the future holds for Gen 7. Number 9 is Venonat. I actually realized as I'm saying this that there's quite a few Gen 1 Pokemon, but that's where I started, so it makes sense. I don't know what it is about Venonat, just that kind of purple fuzzball with the antennas. I don't know, it's really cute, and it evolves into a moth, which I feel makes absolutely no sense, because it doesn't look like anything. There's everybody that talks about how it looks more like Butterfree, and Caterpie looks more like Venomoth, but I don't know. Venonat, I don't have any real reason other than it's cute, and I like it. Number 8 is Beedrill. Even though growing up I always chose Caterpie to eventually get a Butterfree, after this Mega Evolution in the newest generation, Beedrill has really kind of come into my top 10 list just because of the sheer damage that Beedrill can do. It's also nice to see a Pokemon like Beedrill, which was pretty much never used before at all, get a Mega Evolution that makes it completely viable in competitive battling. There's a lot more Pokemon where I'd love to see Mega Evolutions for. I mean, I've said it before that I'd love to see Kingler, but the fact that Beedrill got a Mega Evolutions makes me hopeful for a Mega Butterfree in the future. Speaking of Pokemon that should get a Mega Evolution, number 7 is Volcarona. I was never really big into the 5th generation games. I don't really know why. I just kind of fell out and then came back for Gen 6 hard. But for whatever reason, Volcarona was one of those Pokemon that I really latched onto, that I really liked. It didn't hurt that it was a bug Pokemon, and it was bug fire, which was an interesting typing. And it was a moth, which I thought, was also a really cool. I would have figured a bug fire would have sort of been like a scarab type Pokemon. I don't know why. Just fire beetles from other tabletop games and things like that, I guess. But I think Volcarona could definitely benefit from a Mega Evolution. There's some really cool fan art out there for a Mega Volcarona. And I don't know, it was just interesting because it goes from a larva stage to like the big full-blown moth without a kind of cocoon stage that, Weedle, Caterpie, all those ones, they all go through that, and this one doesn't. It also doesn't evolve till way late in its level lifespan, and I don't know, I think that was really cool. And, it's extremely viable competitive battling wise. And it single-handedly helps out my bug team by being one of the only fire Pokemon on there. Number 6 is Galvanchula. This is one of those situations where I never really looked into the Pokemon at all until I started to look into battling. I wanted to develop a bug team, and this was a bug electric type, so it covered had coverage for various other Pokemon, but it's also one of the few Pokemon in the game that gets access to Sticky Web. Probably my favorite entry hazard in the game. So because I started using it to battle, it's slowly kind of become one of my more favorite Pokemon. And even one of the decks I have for the TCG game that the very rare times that I play TCG, has a Galvanchula in it. And I think spiders are really cool, and Ariados and Spinarak are just not cool to me. I don't like the way they look. Um, Typing's not great, and their stats are kind of crappy. But Galvantula can be really fast. It's got Compound Eyes, so Compound Eyes Thunder is huge. Um, it's just a really good, solid battling Pokemon, and it's my lead most times. And I'm actually thinking about transitioning to making it one of my leads for my regular team, not just the bug team. Number 5 is Parasect. I don't really know when I really kind of fell in love with Parasect as a Pokemon. Probably didn't hurt that when I was younger, it was an orange colored Pokemon, and orange is my favorite color, so that could be part of it. Um, but it was cool because it had the kind of big claws, and it had just a big mushroom back and those kind of white pupilless eyes. I just thought it was really cool. I also really liked mushroom pizza as a kid. Mushroom orange bug Pokemon. Um, but yeah, I just wish it was a. I remember there was a Paris that evolved in the anime as well, and I thought that that was a really cool Pokemon and had a really cool cry in the show. Um, but yeah, like I don't use Parasect. I don't think I've ever used one in a battle. I just really like the Pokemon. Number 4 is Haircross. Um, and kind of my bringing me back to Pokemon with Pokemon Silver, which is probably my favorite of all the Pokemon games. I found Haircross, and Haircross was one of my favorite Pokemons. Again, liking bug Pokemon, and now that Scyther could evolve into Caesar, you also had this new Pokemon Haircross that had a fighting type, which was pretty cool. It had the big kind of Hercules beetle horn, and it could learn Mega Horn, which at that point was one of the few Pokemon that could do it. I mean, it's still one of the few that can. And I super loved Heracross, but when I saw it in the anime, it really made me not like it because it was all weird and obsessed with like honey and jumping on trees. And I mean, I get it; it fits the bug, but I don't know. I just didn't really like it. But it's still on here. Heracross is a solid battler by itself. It has a Mega Evolution now, which is kind of weird tank like. I think it looks better than Mega Pinsir for sure. And I don't know, it's just a solid all around Pokemon, and I just think it's really cool. I couldn't not have a butterfly on on this list. It's a top 10 bug Pokemon. So number 3 is Vivian, which is surprising to me because of all the stuff I've mentioned so far about Butterfree. The fact that Vivian is the butterfly that makes it on the list. And this has to do with the fact that, one, the wings being the different regions that you get the different Pokemon in. Um, you get the different wing patterns, which I think is really cool. I just wish there was a way to breed the Pokemon. Like, once you get one with a special wing pattern, if you breed it, it doesn't automatically have whatever wing pattern you live in. Because I could get really cool ones, like the Pokeball pattern one, or the special Vivian pattern one. And then I'm like, okay, well, I have it, but its IVs are crap, and I want to breed it and make it better. But then when I do it, I just get the polar purple wings that I have here in New York. Um, but it's another. It's on this list because this is again a situation for battling. Butterfree, unfortunately, not that great when it comes to battling. Vivian, not obviously a huge lot better, but the stats are better. Compound Eyes, Sleep Powder, Compound Eyes, Hurricane. I have swept entire teams with the Vivian that I use on that bug team. Granted, it involves kind of sacrificing the other 5 Pokemon on the team to get it set up. You need Sticky Web, you need Sleep Powders, Substitute. But you Quiver Dance 2 or 3 times, and that Hurricane, it doesn't matter what you're up against. Hurricane's going to just knock him out. Um, so Vivian, I like the name. I think it's a cool name. I like that it's kind of play on Papillon, the French word for butterfly. Um, and I wish, like I said, I wish there was a better way to get the wing patterns, because I mean, I like the pattern that I have where I live, but what if you don't like your pattern and you're going to be stuck with it? I guess you could build this whole inner ring of max, IV, right, EV spread and nature and ability kind of Vivian trading ring, and then like, okay, I've got, top of the line polar style Vivian over here. What do you have over there in Australia? Can we swap? But yeah, Vivian. Number 2 is Caterpie. I've been talking about Caterpie and Butterfree the whole time. Unfortunately, I don't really like Butterfree that much. Who likes Metapod, really? But I love Caterpie. And what really kind of did it for me was the anime. Because in the game, when you first got it, you could see Caterpie, and it looks small, but you have no frame of reference on the Game Boy with the old 2D sprites, how big a Caterpie is versus a Pikachu versus whatever. And in the anime, you got to see it was this tiny little caterpillar. And I used to love collecting caterpillars and all that kind of stuff, the fuzzy wuzzy caterpillars or whatnot, inchworms and things, when I was a kid. And then there's this cool Pokemon with the cool design, and and then it was so tiny and it crawled up on Ash's shoulder, and I was like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool? Little bug Pokemon on your shoulder. And then, it also turned out to kind of be a badass in the anime because it learned moves like Headbutt and Counter, which it can't learn, which is unfortunate. And it was able to take out Team Rocket, which again isn't really saying something. But to the point where on my old Pokemon Silver, I trained a Caterpie up to level 100 and then hacked the game to give it Counter and Headbutt as moves so that it could be just like the one in the anime. And what really also kind of blew me away is the first time I played Pokemon Stadium, and you had, the 3D and the tiny little Caterpie versus like a Charizard, which is obviously a horrible idea, but just really cool to do anyway. So, yeah, Caterpie. It's actually on my custom-made Pokemon poster that you can't see that's right over there. There's a Caterpie on there. And number 1 is Scizor. It was actually really hard for me to decide between Scizor and Scyther on this. I know on my top 10 favorite Pokemon, Scizor was, I think, number 4. But when it comes to just my favorite in the bug type alone, I really like Scyther a lot. And again, probably because I had Red back in the day, so I had access to Scyther. And who wanted to trade a Scyther for a Pinsir? Pinsir didn't look nearly as cool. But Scyther is awesome. There was a weird kind of thing in the anime where it didn't like the color red. But I really like Scyther. But when I found out that it got an evolution and it became the cool new Steel type Pokemon in Gold and Silver, it just really sold me on it. And then later, as I started to learn the competitive battling and how that worked, that it's still one of the, it's been one of the best competitive battling Pokemon, and it still is to this day. And then they went to the next step and even gave it a Mega Evolution in Gen 6. It's just hard for it to not be number 1 on my top 10 bug Pokemon. I wish that it could be in Smash Brothers as more than just a Pokeball in some instances, like I mentioned in the Smash Bros video. But, it is what it is. Hopefully it'll get into that Pokemon fighting game that's in the process of coming out. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for my top 10 bug Pokemon. What are your thoughts on bug Pokemon? Are you excited for a potential bug EV evolution? Because I really am. What's your favorite type? Is it bug? Poison? Speaking of poison, tomorrow night on the Wednesday night Pokemon stream, Son is going to be doing her take on a poison type evolution. So start coming with names if you come to the stream. And we are still looking for names for that bug evolution from last week. So let us know. Oh, and next week, she's planning on doing a normal evolution. So any ideas for designs, she's very open to and looking for suggestions. So anyway, sorry for all the little promotion there at the end. But anyway, guys, I'll see you next week.